Okay, guys, so let's go on to the next one. We will be talking about a new image that came out today. And, you know, with all this bad news, we get some really good news for new movies. First look at Timothee Chalamet in Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Now, I'm not going to lie. This franchise, Dune, is something completely unfamiliar to me until today. I got a little familiarized with it a little bit more, and I was, pleasantly acquainted to this franchise. It's based off a book, and I know some of you guys are actually pros at all this, so please don't kill me in the comments. But it's based off of a book, and the movie originated, actually the adaptation to it of the book came out in 1984. Right. So it's an oldie, and there's a few people in it that we've seen before, and this brand new image comes out with some people are saying the future the future A-lister star that's coming out from Timothee Chalamet. So we get this new image, and there's a lot of things to talk about. So let's digest. Let's talk about this a little bit more. So first off, what are your thoughts on the image of itself? Because you haven't seen Dune, right?
I haven't seen Dune either. No.
I haven't seen Dune. A lot of people have talked about it online.
I've heard of it. And it's been one of those movies that it's been a part of going back. And now that I saw some pictures of it, it's been played. I've seen little bits and pieces of it because I saw Sting in there. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I've seen like this. I just have never gone back and said, oh, I want to go watch Dune. Yeah. However, I didn't know it was that big. To be honest, I just haven't heard. From
what I've read today, it was a flop back in 84. Okay. It didn't do so well in the box office. That's why we'd never seen a franchise of it, like Star Wars. But it did get a cult following for it. And the book in itself is a huge story for it, Right. So what are your thoughts right away, right off the bat with the image? What do you think?
I really like it. I really like the image. It looks like he's they make him seem very, very, it seems like another world. It very looks real. It looks like spaceships in the back behind him. It looks cool, man. All I can say is the picture in itself, it actually makes me excited to watch a trailer for it. That's for sure. Yeah. And then also, the people that are attached to it it's exciting, once you go in there.
Yeah, Dune 2020, it's out to be released in December, which is still on track. So that's some good news there. Let's talk about the cast. First off, the director, right? We have Denis Villeneuve, right, which he directed a bunch of stuff that I didn't really realize until I started really researching about him. It didn't really click until I read his whole repertoire. Okay. So let's talk about it. The first one that comes out screaming out to me is Prisoners. Okay. Like Jake Gyllenhaal and Wolverine.
Yeah, he's a very known director to some degree. Yeah. He's done a lot of great movies like Arrival and Prisoners and just a bunch of different ones. Blade Runner, which I haven't seen. But I recognize his way of directing a movie, and I'm like, dude, I'm so excited for him to do this, especially because they're comparing this Dune franchise to Lord of the Rings, to this is the next Lord of the Rings, the feel of it, not because it's been done back then, but just the feel of the lore behind it and how rich it is, I guess, in story. And so, dude, I'm super excited. I didn't know that Dune had that kind of story. So now I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it's a series. It's a book of 6 or something like that.
Yeah. Like I said, I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea.
So what I'm hearing, and by the way, just the director, Arrival, amazing, guys. You have to watch that movie. Arrival is on Hulu and some other streaming services. You have to watch that movie. It's amazing. Just the whole sense of that. Sicario, another one. Yeah. And then
Sicario. He did Sicario too, man.
Dude, Sicario is amazing. Blade Runner as well is actually really shot beautifully. All of these films are shot beautifully. So The book in itself, and it's interesting you say Lord of the Rings. Maybe I'm missing something, but from what I've read of the stories, it feels like Star Wars. It feels like a sci-fi fantasy film, and the difference is because sci-fi is all about space and more so like Arrival, right? But the fantasy part has to do with magic and something that is unreal and something in a magical area sense like Lord of the Rings. But because this story takes place in space, it has a lot of nuances. Even if you look at the image, it looks like
Kylo Ren
It looks like Kylo Ren. It looks like Ben Solo.
Yeah, it does.
It really does look like Ben Solo.
I heard it referenced as the Lord of the Rings when I was reading about it, like the next Lord of the Rings, but maybe they were Star Wars haters. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know this movie very well. Yeah, you're right. If it's like from space, and right now that you're saying that, and I'm looking at the picture, I'm like, dude, that looks like
so. Let me give you 2 or 3 really key things about this world that were very, very interesting to me. The first one is that it is in space. Of course, it's in the future of our future, and it's about the world that has 10,000 planets. That are being, populated by different species and humans, right? The second one, though, is that there is no artificial intelligence or robots or droids per se in this world. They've actually discontinued them and outlawed them.
Okay.
Because I guess I'm sure there's a lot of backstory on that, but there's no droids, no anything. So they could not space travel because there was no artificial intelligence. Okay. That's what they were using, right?
Right.
So the third and really big part of it, and so this is Star Wars with no droids, so that's interesting. But the third one is that they have this thing called spice, which Star Wars does have that too, but spice is used for multiple things, and this is where everything comes to place. Spice is like the biggest resource of this whole universe. They use it for multiple things, including space travel, because they use specific magic,
like fairy dust or something.
Exactly, it's kind of like that. It's some like material, but people get high off of it. They consume it. And they consume it because they need it to enter and kind of like fuel magic. So they have all these types of nuances with magic and space travel, but there's limited technology. So a lot of it has to do with this spice and magic.
Got it.
So, and you see that image, and it looks really sci-fi-ish, right?
It does, man. But there's
a lot of magic.
I can't
wait.
I can't talk very much about it because I don't know very much about it. So, what it does come to mind, though, you're absolutely right. Kylo Ren, wow, fairy dust.
Right,
I could see why it might have said a lot of people are comparing it to the Lord of the Rings, I guess, because it's fairy dust and things like that. A lot
of magic.
Maybe there's the combination where all the maybe Dune is like the next one of those that'll probably put
I'm kind of down to watch the 84 movie because it's a remake because it has nothing to do with it, but it's going to be very similar. It's super dated. It did not age well like Star Wars did, but I saw some clips and it looks pretty interesting. Has a lot of things like the military of German army back in the days, and it has just different things, man. It's very different from anything I've seen before, and the book sounds amazing. So I'm kind of down to watch it. I'm really excited about this image. I'm glad that there's some good news and some fresh news to me at least, because I've never heard this franchise before. So
I'm gonna check out the movie. See what happens, man.
So let us know what you guys think. Have you seen Dune? Does it sound interesting to you?
Comment below, subscribe, guys, ring the little bell, like. We appreciate you guys doing that for us.
Yes,
subscribe.
Yeah.